Dr. Hannah Kim wiped the sweat from her forehead as she stared at the glowing machine in front of her. The lab was quiet except for the soft hum of computers. She had been working on this project for 3 years, and today might finally be the day it worked. "Are you ready, Miho?" she asked the young man lying on the metal table. Thin wires connected his head to the strange device they called the empathy machine. Miho nodded, though his hands were shaking a little. "What will it feel like?" "If it works, you'll feel exactly what another person feels," Hannah explained. "Not just understand it, but actually feel their emotions as if they were your own." Dr. Jinwoo Park stood nearby, watching computer screens. "The brain waves look stable," he said. "But Hannah, are we sure this is safe?" Hannah had asked herself that question many times. Other scientists around the world had tried to create artificial empathy before, but they had only made computers that could copy emotions. This was different. This machine would create real connections between minds using something called quantum entanglement. "Mrs. Cho is waiting in the next room," Hannah said. "She lost her son in a car accident last week. She agreed to help us test this." Jinwoo looked worried. "That's a lot of pain for Miho to feel. If we only test it with happy emotions, we won't know if it really works," Hannah replied. "Pain is the strongest feeling humans have." She turned to Miho. "Remember, this is just a test. We can stop at any time." Miho took a deep breath. "I understand. Let's do it." Hannah's finger hovered over the start button. 3 years of failed experiments had led to this moment. The first machine had exploded. The second one had given the test subject terrible headaches. The third one had done nothing at all. But this fourth version was different. Instead of trying to copy emotions, it would create tiny invisible bridges between minds. The computer would read Mrs. Cho's brain patterns and make Miho's brain feel the exact same things. "Starting now," Hannah said, pressing the button. The machine began to glow brighter. Numbers flashed across the computer screens. For the first few seconds, nothing happened. Miho lay still, breathing normally. Then his face changed. His eyes filled with tears. His breathing became fast and shallow. A soft crying sound came from his throat, growing louder and louder until he was sobbing like a broken-hearted child. "Stop it," Jinwoo shouted, reaching for controls. "Wait," Hannah said, watching the readings. "Look at his brain scans." On the screen, Miho's brain showed the exact same patterns as Mrs. Cho's brain in the next room. The machine wasn't just making him sad. It was making him feel the specific sadness of a mother who had lost her child. "My boy," Miho whispered through his tears. "My sweet boy is gone." But Miho had no son. He was feeling Mrs. Cho's loss as if it were his own. After 2 minutes, Hannah turned off the machine. Miho stopped crying immediately, but tears still covered his face. "How do you feel?" Jinwoo asked. Miho sat up slowly, wiping his eyes. I felt like my heart was broken into 1,000 pieces. Not because I was sad for her, but because I was her. I felt exactly what she feels every morning when she wakes up and remembers her son is dead." Hannah stared at him. "So it worked." "It worked," Miho said quietly. "But Hannah, how does she live with that pain every day?" "It was so strong I thought I might die from it." That night, Hannah couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what they had created. The machine didn't just help people understand each other better. It made them actually share feelings completely. She thought about all the ways this could change the world. What if soldiers could feel their enemies' fear before fighting? What if rich people could feel exactly how hungry poor people were? What if everyone could truly understand what others were going through? But she also thought about the danger. If people could feel everyone else's pain, how would they handle it? The human mind was designed to feel only its own emotions. What would happen if it had to carry the feelings of many people? 3 days later, Hannah presented their results to the government. The officials listened with wide eyes as she explained how the empathy machine worked. "Can you make more of these machines?" asked General Park. "Yes, but smaller," Hannah replied. "We can make them small enough to wear like glasses." "How many people could use them?" "As many as we want," Hannah said. "The technology can be mass-produced." General Park smiled. "Dr. Kim, I think you have given humanity a new superpower, the ability to truly understand anyone. Hannah nodded, but she felt worried. Superpowers always came with a price. She just hoped humanity would be ready to pay it. The empathy machine was about to change everything, and there would be no going back. 5 years had passed since the first empathy machine was built. Now thousands of humans wore small devices that looked like thin headbands. These devices let them feel what others felt, even aliens from other worlds. Ambassador Sujin Choi stood on a landing pad at the Seoul Space Center. Her empathy device hummed softly against her forehead. Today was the most important day in human history. The first aliens were coming to visit Earth. "Are you nervous?" asked her assistant, Kyung-go Nam. "Very nervous," Sujin admitted. "We don't know how the empathy device will work with alien minds." The sky began to darken as huge ships appeared above the clouds. The ships were beautiful, made of what looked like silver liquid that moved and flowed. Slowly, 3 ships landed on the pad with barely a sound. A door opened on the largest ship. The first alien stepped out. Sujin gasped. The being was tall and thin, with skin that looked like moving water. Its head was shaped like a teardrop, and instead of eyes, it had patches of light that changed colors. As soon as the alien came close, Sujin's empathy device began working. Suddenly, she felt emotions that were not her own. Fear, deep, terrible fear. But also something else, sadness so strong it made her want to cry. "Welcome to Earth," Sujin said in a shaky voice. "I am Ambassador Sujin Choi." The alien stopped walking. Its light patches flickered from blue to red to yellow very quickly. You can sense our emotions?" the alien asked. Its voice sounded like water flowing over rocks. Sujin wiped tears from her eyes. Through the empathy device, she could feel exactly what the alien felt. "Your world is dying, isn't it? The oceans are turning black." The alien's entire body began to shake. "How could you know that?" "We told no one. We came here to trade, to hide our weakness." "I can feel your pain," Sujin said softly. "Your people are afraid. The water that gives you life is becoming poison. Your children are asking why the sea doesn't glow anymore, and you don't know what to tell them." The alien, who said his name was Veltar, suddenly collapsed to his knees. His skin stopped moving and became dull gray. "Please," Veltar whispered. "We didn't want anyone to know. If other species learn we are weak, they will attack us." Sujin knelt down beside him. The empathy device was overwhelming her with the alien's emotions. She felt his shame, his fear for his people, and his love for his dying world. "We won't attack you," she said. "We want to help." "Why?" Veltar asked. "You don't even know us." "Because I can feel how much you're hurting," Sujin replied. "And when I feel your pain, I have to try to stop it." Within hours, the meeting had completely changed. Instead of trade talks, human scientists were working with Veltar's people to find ways to clean their poisoned oceans. Dr. Hannah Kim, the creator of the empathy device, flew in from her lab to help. "This is amazing," Hannah said as she studied the alien data. "Their oceans are sick because of the same chemicals that use to pollute our seas. We know how to fix this." Veltar's skin began to glow with soft blue light. "You would share this knowledge? What do you want in return?" "Nothing," Sujin said. "That's not how empathy works. When someone is in pain, you help them. You don't ask for payment." Word about the strange humans spread quickly through space. Within months, other alien species came to Earth. They had heard about the beings who could feel what others felt. The Krex Empire sent warships, thinking humans would be easy to conquer. But when the Krex soldiers met human negotiators wearing empathy devices, everything changed. Captain Taewon Shin stood on the deck of the human ship, facing the Krex commander. The Krex looked like giant insects with hard shells and many arms. "Surrender your planet," the Krex commander demanded, "or we will destroy it." Taiwan's empathy device activated as the commander spoke. Suddenly, Taewon felt homesickness, so strong it hurt his chest. He felt the commander's longing for his family, his fear of disappointing his queen, and his exhaustion from years of war. "You miss your hive mates," Taewon said gently. You haven't seen your egg brothers in 3 cycles. The Krex commander stepped back in shock. How? You're tired of fighting, Taewon continued. You want to go home, but you're afraid your queen will think you're weak. The giant alien began to shake. I dream of the warm tunnels where I was born, but I am a warrior. I must conquer. What if there was another way? Taewon asked, what if we could help you contact your family while you're traveling? We have communication technology you've never seen. The Krex commander was quiet for a long time. Then he said, you would do this? For your enemies? You're not our enemy, Taewon replied. You're just someone far from home. The invasion became a cultural exchange. The Krex taught humans about space navigation, and humans helped the Krex stay connected with their families across the galaxy. News of humanity's strange gift spread to every corner of space. Soon, alien ships were coming to Earth not to conquer or trade, but to ask for help. Humanity had become something new in the galaxy, a species that could truly understand others. The starship New Sol slowly entered the Kepler 442 system. Captain Young-Ho Kim stood on the bridge, looking at the 2 moons that orbited the planet below. Even from space, he could see the flashes of weapons firing between them. How long have they been fighting? Asked Dr. Yunji Song, the ship's chief empathy specialist. 800 years, Young-Ho replied. The Luminar people live on the bright side of one moon. The Umbral people live in darkness on the other moon. They've forgotten why they started fighting. Yunji adjusted her empathy device and checked her equipment. Behind her, 20 human volunteers prepared their own devices. They called themselves the Empathy Corps, humans who travel through space to help others solve their problems. Are we sure this will work? Asked Mincio Park, one of the younger volunteers. We've never tried to help 2 species that have been at war for so long. We have to try, Yunji said. Every day they fight, more people die. I can already feel their pain from here. The ship's communication system crackled to life. Human vessel, this is Luminar Command. You are entering a war zone. Leave immediately or be destroyed. Before Young-Ho could respond, another voice interrupted. Human ship, this is the Umbral Defense Force. Do not listen to the Light Dwellers. They are our enemies. Young-Ho activated the ship's broadcast system. This is Captain Young-Ho Kim of Earth. We are not here to fight. We are here to help you understand each other. Both alien forces laughed. Understand, said the Luminar commander. The shadow crawlers are evil. There is nothing to understand. The light-blinded fools destroy everything they touch, added the Umbral leader. We will never make peace with them. But Yunji had an idea. Captain, can you ask both sides to send just one representative to meet us? Tell them we have something important to show them. Young-Ho was doubtful, but he sent the message. To everyone's surprise, both sides agreed to send someone. They were curious about these strange humans who claimed they could help. 2 small ships docked with a New Sol. From the Luminar ship came a being that glowed with bright white light. Its body looked like it was made of pure energy. From the Umbral ship came a creature that seemed to absorb all light around it. Its body was so dark it was hard to see where it began and ended. The 2 aliens stood at opposite ends of the meeting room, as far apart as possible. I am Lightkeeper Zahn, said the glowing being. I speak for all who live in the blessed brightness. I am Shadow Walker Vex, said the dark creature. I protect those who find peace in the eternal darkness. Yunji stepped forward. Thank you both for coming. I know you hate each other, but I want to try something. Will you let me show you what the other one feels? Both aliens laughed. I don't want to know what that monster thinks, Zahn said. The bright one burns everything it touches, Vex replied. Why would I care about its feelings? Because, Yunji said softly, you might learn that you're fighting for the same thing. She activated her empathy device and connected it to both aliens. At first, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the device began to translate their emotions into something humans could understand. Zahn suddenly stopped glowing so brightly. What is this feeling? Fear? But not my fear. Vex's darkness seemed to flicker. I feel protection? Someone try and protect children. That's right, Yunji said. Zahn, You're feeling Vex need to protect his people from what he thinks is dangerous light. Vex, you're feeling Zon's need to protect her people from what she thinks is harmful darkness. The two aliens stared at each other. For 800 years, they had seen only enemies. Now, for the first time, they felt what their enemy felt. You're afraid of us? Zon whispered. But we're afraid of you. Your light doesn't hurt on purpose, Vex said slowly. You think our darkness will destroy your children. And your darkness isn't evil, Zon realized. You think our light will blind your young ones. Yunji smiled. You've both been trying to protect your families. You just didn't understand that the other side was doing the same thing. The empathy device kept working. Both aliens felt each other's love for their people, their fear of losing their way of life, and their exhaustion from centuries of war. I'm so tired of fighting, Zon admitted. I just want my light children to grow up safely. I dream of the day when my shadow young can play without fear, Vex said. What if we could find a way for both of you to be safe? Yunji asked, what if light and darkness could exist together? Working together, the humans helped both sides see a new solution. The Luminar could have their bright areas, and the Umbral could have their dark areas. In between, there could be gentle twilight zones where both species could meet safely. 3 days later, the Peace of Share Hearts was signed. The war that had lasted 8 centuries ended because both sides finally understood that their enemy was just trying to protect their families, just like they were. As the new soul prepared to leave, both alien leaders asked, what do you want as payment for this gift? Young Ho shook his head. Nothing. We're pilgrims now. We go wherever people need help understanding each other. The ship flew toward the next star, where another conflict waited. Humanity had found its purpose among the stars. Dr. Hannah Kim walked slowly through the medical wing of humanity's space station above Earth. Her hair was now gray, and lines covered her face. She had spent 10 years watching her creation change the galaxy, but she had also seen the terrible price it demanded. Dozens of beds filled the long room. In each bed lay a human who had once been part of the empathy corps. Now they stared at the ceiling with empty eyes, their minds broken by feeling too much pain. How many new patients this week? Hannah asked Dr. Sichin-Yoon, who ran the medical center. 15, Sichin replied sadly. Jisoo Park felt the death of an entire planet. 50 million people died when their sun exploded. She experienced every single death as if it was her own child dying. She hasn't moved or spoken in 3 months. Hannah looked at Jisoo, who had once been a bright young woman eager to help others. Now she lay still, tears constantly flowing from her closed eyes. And Dong Hyun Shin? Hannah asked. He helped free a slave species that had been trapped underground for 1,000 years. He felt all their fear and pain at once. Now he thinks he's still trapped. He tries to dig through the walls with his hands until they bleed. Hannah walked to another bed where Haiwan Lee lay curled up like a baby. What happened to her? She mediated between 2 species that had been torturing each other for fun. When she felt what both the victims and the torturers experienced, her mind couldn't handle it. She's been like this for 6 months. Hannah sat down heavily in a chair. When she had created the empathy device, she had thought it would make humans better. She had never imagined it would drive them insane. The human brain isn't designed for this, Sichin explained. We can only handle our own emotions. When someone feels the pain of millions of beings, their mind breaks. But we can't stop, Hannah said. There are 300 human ships out there right now, helping solve conflicts across the galaxy. If we quit, wars will start again. People will suffer. And if we continue, we'll lose our own people, Sichin replied. Every month, more volunteers come back broken. Some never come back at all. That night, Hannah couldn't sleep. She stood at the window of her room, looking down at Earth. Her beautiful planet looked peaceful from space, but she knew it was almost empty now. Most humans had left to become traveling healers among the stars. Suddenly, the air in her room began to shimmer. Light bent and twisted, until 3 beings appeared. They looked like humans, but their skin glowed with soft silver light, and their eyes held the wisdom of ages. Dr. Hannah Kim, one of them said, Its voice sounded like music. We are the architects. We have watched the galaxy for 1 million years. Hannah stepped back in fear. Who are you? What do you want? We are the first species to achieve true civilization, the architect explained. We have waited for eons to find another race that could evolve beyond selfishness. I don't understand, Hannah said. Another architect stepped forward. Every species we have observed thinks only of itself. They fight, they take, they destroy. But humans are different. You feel others' pain as your own. You cannot ignore suffering once you truly understand it. This gift is destroying us, Hannah said. My people are going insane from carrying too much pain. We know, the third architect said gently. We went through the same thing long ago. The ability to feel universal empathy is both a blessing and a curse. The first architect gestured, and images appeared in the air. Hannah saw technology beyond her wildest dreams. Machines that could heal entire planets. Devices that could end hunger and disease forever. We offer you this knowledge, the architect said. Technology that can eliminate suffering throughout the galaxy. But there is a price. What price? Hannah asked, though she already feared the answer. Humanity must become eternal pilgrims, the architect explained. You can never again have a permanent home. You must scatter across the galaxy, forever traveling from world to world, healing the pain you feel. It is the burden of those who can truly empathize. What about Earth? Earth will become a medical station for your broken volunteers. But the rest of humanity must wander the stars. You will raise your children on ships, teach them to carry others' pain, and when they break from too much suffering, you will bring them home to heal. Hannah thought about all the humans already traveling through space, unable to ignore the calls for help from suffering worlds. She thought about the volunteers lying broken in the medical wing. She thought about the choice between letting the galaxy burn or letting humanity burn out trying to heal it. Why us? She whispered. Because when you feel someone's pain as your own, you cannot choose to let them suffer, the architect replied. Other species can walk away from pain that isn't theirs. Humans cannot. That makes you the galaxy's conscience. Hannah closed her eyes. The choice was already made. Once humanity had learned to feel what others felt, they could never stop trying to heal the pain they experienced. We accept, she said quietly. The architect smiled sadly. Then the galaxy's suffering becomes your eternal responsibility. You will wander forever among the stars, carrying pain that isn't yours, healing wounds you feel as your own. As they disappeared, Hannah realized humanity's greatest gift had become their greatest burden. They were now prisoners of their own compassion. 50 years had passed since humanity accepted the architect's gift and became wanderers among the stars. The generation ship Pilgrims hoped slowly approached a dying world called Zirian 7. The planet looked sick from space. Its once blue oceans had turned brown, and thick clouds of poison covered the land. Miho Lee, now 90 years old, sat in his wheelchair on the ship's observation deck. His great-granddaughter Ariam knelt beside him, adjusting the small empathy device on her forehead. She was only 20, but her eyes looked much older, the eyes of someone who had felt too much pain. Tell me again why we do this, grandfather, Ariam said softly. Miho smiled, his wrinkled hand touching his own empathy device. Because once you feel someone else's pain as your own, you cannot pretend it doesn't exist. We are cursed with carrying little star. Around them, other humans prepared for another healing mission. Some were children who had been born on the ship and had never seen Earth. Others were middle-aged volunteers whose parents had been born on different ships traveling to different worlds. None of them had a true home except the stars. Grandfather, asked Juno Kim, a 12-year-old boy, what was Earth like? Miho's eyes grew distant. Green. So very green, with blue skies and white clouds. But that was long ago. Now Earth is a hospital where we take the broken ones. The ship's communication system buzzed. Attention all crew. We're receiving distress signals from Zirian 7. The planet's government has collapsed. They're fighting over the last clean water sources. Dr. Sumin Park, the ship's medical officer, activated her empathy device to test the range. Immediately, her face twisted in pain. Oh no, she whispered. I can feel them from here. Millions of beings. They're so afraid, so desperate. Ariam's device activated automatically as they got closer to the planet. Suddenly, she felt overwhelming thirst. Not her own, but the thirst of creatures dying without water. She felt the panic of parents watching their children grow weak. She felt the anger of leaders who had failed their people. "Make it stop," whispered young Juno, tears streaming down his face. His device had activated too, and he was feeling emotions too big for a child's mind. "We can't stop it," Miho said gently. "This is what it means to be human now. We feel everyone's pain, and then we fix it." The ship landed on Zirian 7's largest continent. The humans who stepped out wore their empathy devices like crowns of thorns, beautiful but painful. The planet's air smelled of death and poison. The local beings were called Zirites. They looked like tall, thin trees with golden bark and leaves instead of hair. But their bark was cracked and dry, and their leaves were falling off. "Who are you?" asked their leader, a Zirite whose bark was almost gray. "Have you come to steal our water too?" Ariam stepped forward, tears already flowing as she felt the leader's despair. "We're humans. We're here to help." "Help!" The Zirite laughed bitterly. "Our rivers are poison. Our rain burns our skin. Our children are dying, and we're fighting each other for drops of clean water. How can anyone help us now?" "Because we feel your pain," Ariam said simply. "When you hurt, we hurt. When your children suffer, we suffer. We can't leave until we fix this." The Zirite leader stared at her. You can feel what we feel?" "Every bit of it," Ariam replied. "Your fear that your daughter won't live another week. Your shame that you couldn't protect your people. Your anger at the leaders who poison your world." The Zirite's golden bark began to turn darker. "How is this possible?" Dr. Sumin Park activated a large empathy device that could work with many beings at once. "Bring your people here," she said. "Let us show them something." Within hours, representatives from all of Zirian 7's fighting groups had gathered. When the empathy device activated, something amazing happened. For the first time in years, they all felt the same thing, each other's pain. The water hoarders felt the thirst of the poor. The rich felt the desperation of the dying. The leaders felt the fear of every parent on the planet. "We're all the same," whispered one of them. "We're all just trying to save our families." "The humans have shown us something," said another. "We're fighting each other while our world dies around us." Working together, the humans and Zirites found solution. Using the architect's technology, they built machines that could clean the poisoned water and heal the damaged land. But more importantly, the empathy device had helped the Zirites understand each other. As the Pilgrims' hope prepared to leave the healing world, the Zirite leader approached Miho's wheelchair. "What can we give you in return?" Miho smiled sadly. "Nothing. This is what we are now. We wander from world to world, feeling everyone's pain, fixing what we can. Will you ever go home?" "The stars are our home," Ariam answered. "We carry the galaxy's pain so others don't have to carry it alone." As their ship flew toward the next world in need, Juno asked, "Will we ever stop hurting for others?" Miho looked up at the stars, where hundreds of other human ships traveled on similar missions. "No, little one, but that's what makes us human. We chose to hurt so that others wouldn't hurt alone." The Pilgrim's hope disappeared into space, carrying its cargo of compassionate souls toward the next world that needed healing. Humanity had become the galaxy's eternal pilgrims, forever wandering among the stars, healing wounds they felt as their own. Their gift had become their burden, and their burden had become their purpose.